Peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon you. Good morning. On Sunday, November 23, 2025, the Hayli Gubbi volcano in the Afar region of northeastern Ethiopia erupted suddenly, without any warning. It was a catastrophe by all measures. According to data from the Global Volcanism Program, this volcano had no recorded activity throughout the entire Holocene epoch. We're talking about a period of 10,000 to 12,000 years. That's why scientists considered it a relic of the past, just a geographical feature, nothing more. But in an instant, the volcano erupted violently, breaking a silence that had lasted for millennia and forcing geologists worldwide to reevaluate their assumptions. Nighttime satellite images captured a terrifying scene, showing a dense cloud of dust and ash covering vast areas. The terrifying part is that Ethiopia has about 50 other volcanoes from the same Holocene era. Hayli Gubbi was completely off our radar, considered inactive, and not a cause for concern. This makes us wonder, how many other volcanoes in the Arab and African regions, which we assume are dormant, are actually boiling underground, just waiting for the moment to explode? Welcome, I'm Amr Abdeen. Before we start, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get our videos as soon as they're released. And if you enjoy puzzle games, don't forget to try our new game, Words from Above. You can find the link in the description box. In the village of Afdera and the surrounding villages in the Afar region, inhabited by simple herders who rely on irrigation and scarce water, residents woke up to a nightmare. They said it felt like a bomb had been dropped on them. Smoke and ash were everywhere. The village was completely blanketed, day turned into night, and visibility was almost zero. Although initial reports thankfully indicated no human casualties, the real catastrophe was the economic impact. Volcanic ash covered the pastures their livestock depend on and contaminated the already limited water sources in the area. From a scientific perspective, the Toulouse Volcanic Ash Advisory Center observed an ash column that rose to an insane height of 14 kilometers into the sky. That's about 45,000 feet. We mention feet because commercial air traffic flies at altitudes between 30,000 and 40,000 feet. This means the volcanic material was ejected to a level higher than airplanes. This incredible altitude caused the cloud to move from its location in Ethiopia and begin a transcontinental journey. Yes, the eruption in Ethiopia stopped, but what came out from the Earth's belly had just begun its journey. Once the ash reached the upper atmosphere, winds picked up the massive cloud and started pushing it eastward. The first geographical barrier it encountered was the Red Sea, which it crossed with ease before entering the Arabian Peninsula. That's when reports and videos started coming in from Yemen and Oman. The cloud, loaded with thousands of tons of volcanic material and sulfur dioxide gas, reached Yemen. People there saw the sky change color, and horizontal visibility was completely obscured as black. Flour-like ash fell in huge quantities. Yemeni testimonies described waking up to find layers of ash covering houses and farms. This, of course, caused a state of panic because they aren't used to such phenomena. The Early Warning Center in Yemen issued alerts, advising people to wear masks and seal their water tanks to prevent contamination. From Yemen, the cloud continued its journey to the Sultanate of Oman. The Omani Environment Authority activated its emergency center and began monitoring the situation. They observed volcanic dust at an altitude of 35,000 feet over the empty quarter and the Arabian Sea. Although the Sultanate reassured people that there was no direct impact on their air quality, satellite images showed a massive cloud stretching from the Horn of Africa and covering vast areas of southern Arabia. So, the question is, what's so scary about this cloud? Well, initial scientific analyses, specifically from infrared imaging sensors, revealed that the cloud wasn't just dust. It contained huge quantities of sulfur dioxide gas, estimated at around 60,000 tons dispersed in the atmosphere, in addition to fine particles of volcanic glass and fragmented rock. The danger here is twofold. First, on the ground, inhaling this ash or gas can cause severe respiratory irritation, problems for asthma patients, and eye and skin infections. That's why affected areas issued warnings urging people to stay indoors unless absolutely necessary and to wear masks. There's also concern about sulfur dioxide gas, which, when mixed with water vapor in the atmosphere, can produce acid rain. This rain can destroy agriculture and contaminate groundwater, leaving farmers in Yemen fearing for their crops and livelihoods. The second, and perhaps more dangerous, part is what's happening up in the sky. Volcanic ash is the #1 enemy of jet engines. When ash centers a running airplane engine, The high temperatures inside cause it to melt and transform into a glass-like substance. This substance sticks to engine parts and can cause a sudden engine shutdown. For airlines, this cloud created a mandatory no-fly zone, which explains why all global aviation agencies were terrified, tracking the cloud's movement minute by minute. Any mistake could, God forbid, lead to an atmospheric disaster. As soon as the cloud began moving east, it caused a paralysis in international air travel. We're not just talking about Ethiopia. The biggest impact was on transit flights passing through the region, specifically flights between India, the Gulf, and Europe. The Indian Civil Aviation Authority issued urgent warnings to airlines to avoid the altitudes and areas affected by the volcanic ash. The result was a wave of cancellations. Air India canceled 13 flights. Akasa Air canceled its flights to Jeddah, Kuwait, and Abu Dhabi on the 24th and 25th. Even European companies like Hayli rerouted a flight from Amsterdam to Delhi. Delhi Airport itself, the largest in India, saw 7 international flights and another 12 domestic flights canceled in a single day. The issue in India wasn't just about flights. When the cloud reached the capital, Delhi, it created a confusing situation. People in Delhi already suffer from severe air pollution and smog at this time of year, which makes their air quality very poor. So, when the volcanic ash arrived, people couldn't tell if it was the usual pollution or something else. However, Indian meteorologists confirmed that volcanic ash was indeed present over Delhi and northern India, but it was moving in the upper layers of the atmosphere, so it had no direct effect on the air quality people breathe on the ground. The impact was more visible in the sky, with its color changing to a hazy, strange hue, and unusual sunsets caused by light scattering off the ash and sulfur particles. Forecasts predicted the cloud would move towards the Himalayas and Nepal, with a possibility of ground impact if the ash collided with the high mountains there. By Tuesday evening, the cloud was expected to clear from Indian airspace and head towards China. To understand what happened, we need to look beneath the Earth's surface. The Hayli Gubbi volcano is located in an area called the Afar Triangle, or the Danakil Depression. This place is one of the most geologically active spots on Earth because it's where 3 tectonic plates meet: the Arabian Plate, the African Plate, and the Somali Plate. These 3 plates are currently pulling away from each other. Each plate is moving in a different direction, trying to separate. This makes the Earth's crust there unstable, allowing molten rock to rise easily to the surface. Scientists say what's happening there is the birth of a new ocean in Africa. The land is literally splitting apart, and over time, the Red Sea will expand, and the Horn of Africa will completely separate from the continent. We covered this topic in a previous episode you can find on the channel. In it, we said that while predictions suggest this will happen over millions of years, unexpected events can change the equation. The Hayli Gubbi volcano was one of those surprises. Its eruption wasn't an isolated incident. It's part of a massive, ongoing geological process. Studies over the past 20 years have revealed magmatic activity beneath many of Ethiopia's volcanoes, not just Hayli Gubbi. Volcanoes like Aludo and Korbeti are also active and are located close to major cities. This means Hayli Gubbi might just be the beginning, a preview of what could happen if a volcano near a city were to erupt with the same force. Now, the question is, did the explosion really happen so suddenly, without any warning? Was the probability of it erupting non-existent one moment, and then it just blew up the next? The answer is no. The truth is, there were warning signs. There was increased seismic activity in the area for some time before the eruption. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, more than 67 earthquakes were recorded in the region starting in late September 2024. Residents of the capital, Addis Ababa, even felt the tremors. In October 2024, earthquakes caused damage to some houses and created cracks in the ground in the Afar region specifically. The earth was sending signals, saying, hey, something's happening, but no one acted. The main problem is that we have a case where the Hayli Gubbi volcano was classified as a blind spot. There wasn't enough monitoring and there were no historical records of its activity. This leads scientists to focus elsewhere. This state of uncertainty applies to most volcanoes in Ethiopia. We know the danger exists, but we have no idea about their behavior, how they might erupt, or when. They relied on the fact that the volcano had been dormant for 10,000 years. Forgetting that in geology, 10,000 years is nothing. In the end, the story of the Hayli Gubbi volcano leaves us with one undeniable truth. We are all under one sky. The shepherd in the Afar desert brushing ash off his sheep. The traveler stuck and upset at Delhi airport, because his flight was canceled, and the Yemeni farmer worried about his crops. They were all connected in an instant by a single geological event. Nature does not recognize the borders drawn on maps. The ash didn't need a visa to enter Yemen, nor did it ask for permission to pass over India. That's why we shouldn't see this event as something that just happened to people far away in Ethiopia. We should see it as a wake-up call for all of us. It's an alarm bell telling us that we need to update our risk models and include East African volcanoes in our security, environmental, and economic considerations. Because this time it was Hayli Gubbi. Next time, it could be a closer, more dangerous volcano with a much greater impact. And that's all for today. For those of you who made it this far, you're the real ones. Please hit the like button before you go so we know how many of you stuck around to the end. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes, write them in the comments. Peace.